It's so important to introduce a dog and a cat the right way, because if you don't do it right, by taking the time and doing it this front-loaded process where there's a lot of work at the beginning, you could have a dog and a cat that really are never gonna get along and be the best friends that they can be. Hi, my name is Karen London. Welcome to Kong Classroom. It is so important to keep a dog and a cat separate at first when they haven't met each other as part of the introduction process, because if you have them together, something bad can happen. One of them can have a negative experience, one of them can start the developing of a bad habit, and that can really traumatize a cat and sometimes even the dog. So you could end up with a cat that's terrified, a dog that just had a lot of fun at the expense of the cat. So by keeping them separate, and I like to do it with double gate so even paws can't go through, there's no interaction, you can have them in each other's presence. They can get used to the sight of each other and used to the smell of each other without actually interacting. By separating the dog and the cat, as again, the first part of the introduction, you can have them, play a little bit or get toys around each other and start to have positive experiences in each other's presence without any risk of an interaction that could send you down the path of them not getting along. There is one thing that people so rarely do when it comes to dog-dog introductions, and it's so important and it makes them go so much more smoothly, and that is taking a dog that's never met another dog on a walk together in a very specific way. And ideally what you do is you have one person with each dog and you walk them across the street, not a busy street, but like a neighborhood street, and they're walking in the same direction, they're walking in parallel. And over time, you can get them gradually closer and closer together, but what this means is that by the time they actually meet, the novelty of the other one has worn off, and that can make it go a lot more smoothly, because sometimes what sort of goes a little, cattywampus with dog-dog introductions is they're just so excited and so like, oh my gosh, what is this new thing? And sometimes the one dog takes offense or one dog's too bouncy. But if you start out on these parallel walks, you're playing into the way dogs naturally meet. Like, it's not normal for dogs to meet the way we often do, two people, on a leash, and they just stand and talk like, oh, wow, like neighborhood chit-chat, and then the dogs are there. Dog greetings, if they're naturally greeting, are often less than 10 seconds, and to stand there with them is not good. But if you do this parallel walking, that's what dogs tend to do. They just tend to walk in the same direction with one another. And if they're comfortable, and as you get closer and closer together, they do what dogs do. They run this way and they run that way, and they meet over smells in the grass. They don't meet face to face the way people do. So if you can start out a dog-dog introduction with a parallel walk at some distance at which both dogs are comfortable, you've greatly improved the chance that those dogs are going to meet, it's going to go smoothly, they'll be friends, and it'll be a peaceful introduction, which is obviously the goal. Managing leashes when introducing new dogs is extremely important. If you can introduce the dogs without a leash, or they're ready for that stage after some introductory parts like parallel walking or meeting with leashes, then avoid leashes if you can, because then they don't have the tension on the leash and it just doesn't create extra anxiety. If you have to have them leashed, either because you're not in a safe area or you're not ready for the dogs to do that, you want to keep the leashes loose. It's really natural to be like, oh, I don't know if they should be meeting, and pulling, and that actually creates tension. Keep the leashes as loose as possible. And then you want to be very agile. I always say that introducing dogs with leashes, if they're really active and they're spinning, is a little bit of doggy introduction combined with macrame. You want to be passing leashes over and over. You don't want to get them twisted up. And sometimes if there's any kind of tension, the best thing you can do is drop the leash and let it untangle and pick it up again. So managing leashes is important. You have to pay attention to them, because obviously they're attached to dogs, and so they're creating physical pressure on them potentially. The way that you progress from one step to the next with dog and cat introductions is very, very slowly. If you think that you are going to go at a certain pace, you probably need to go even slower. I often think in terms of dog and cat introductions, think more in terms of weeks or months, not days or weeks. And you only ever progress to the next step when the animals are comfortable with the step that you're at. So if you have a dog and a cat on opposite sides of a gate and they are each playing, they're only going to be playing if they're comfortable and happy and relaxed in the situation. It's one of the wonderful things about using play is that it's an assessment tool, it's a little litmus test. If they're playing, there's a degree of comfort that you really can't get with any other sort of behavior. Just because they're taking treats doesn't mean they're relaxed. They could be upset, but still taking them. They're not gonna play unless they're happy. So if they're relaxed, you can maybe move them closer together or make the interaction a little bit longer. So it's always a progression of steps based on a comfort level with both animals. I'm Karen London. Thanks for joining us in Khan Classroom.